You hatch from an egg somewhere in the Aldabra atoll, pushing through the last layer of sand with your front legs until your head breaks free and the light hits you for the first time. Around you, 4 siblings push up through the same patch of ground, each one pulling itself out and moving in a different direction, and within a few minutes, you're alone. Your shell is soft enough to bend if something steps on you, so you need to reach the shade of the bushes ahead, and you start walking toward them with your legs pushing through the loose sand. Then a bird lands between you and the bushes and walks toward you with its head low. You pull your legs and head inside your shell and go still. It pecks at the top of your shell once, then again, then walks around you and pecks at the side. But your shell holds, and after a while the bird loses interest and flies off. You carry on toward the bushes. A large tortoise is already resting under the closest one, wide and still, with its head stretched out flat on the ground. You stop beside it and stay still too, because the shade it's sitting in is wide enough for both of you and nothing is going to bother you while something that size is next to you. A few hours later, you try eating for the first time, pulling at a small leaf on the ground near your feet. It goes down and your body keeps moving. That's enough for now. But your shell is still soft, the bushes only cover so much ground, and the island stretches a long way in every direction. And soon, the dry season will come and finding water will matter more than anything else. You're 3 months old now, and the ground has hardened across most of the island with the grass pulling back and the low plants you've been eating getting harder to find. You need water, so you start following the trails left by the larger tortoises, because they've been here long enough to know where the ground still holds it. The trail leads you to a hollow in the ground with a muddy patch at the bottom, where a group of bigger tortoises are already standing with their heads down and drinking. You walk toward the edge of the group, trying to get close enough to reach the wet ground. Then one of the larger tortoises takes a step sideways and its back leg connects with your shell, knocking you onto your side. You pull your legs in and wait, then roll yourself upright with your legs pushing against the ground until you're back up. You find a wet patch at the far edge of the hollow and drink from it with your head pressed low to the ground. A few days later, you find a patch of grass that still has some green in it, and another young tortoise is already there with its head down and eating. You need the food too, so you walk straight toward it and hold your position next to the patch. It lifts its head and holds still for a moment, trying to decide whether to stay or go. But you stay put and keep eating, so after a while it turns and walks away. That's the first time you've held your ground against another tortoise and won. Your shell is hardening a little more each week now, but you're still small enough that a determined bird could flip you over and keep you there. That problem won't last forever, but for now, it's the one that matters most. Skip forward a bit, and you're 5 years old now, with your shell hard enough that a bird pecking at it does nothing. So you move through more of the island than you used to, and cover ground that was too far to reach when you were smaller. One morning you find a cactus pad that has fallen from a low plant onto the ground, and you bite into it with your jaw pressing down hard. The inside is full of water that runs down into your mouth as you chew, so you keep eating until the whole pad is gone. Aldabra tortoises eat cactus pads regularly because they hold water inside them, and out here that makes them more valuable than almost any other food on the island. Then another young tortoise about your size walks toward the same plant, looking to pull down another pad for itself. You need this food source, so you walk toward it with your head held up and your legs pushing you forward at full height. It stops and lifts its own head, with both of you standing as tall as your legs will carry you. That's how tortoises challenge each other. The one who holds its head highest and longest forces the other to back down. You hold the stretch until the other tortoise lowers its head and turns, walking back the way it came. A few days later, a large male crosses the ground nearby with every tortoise in the area moving out of his path before he gets close. So you stop and watch him pass with your head turning to follow him across the ground. He's easily 10 times your size, with his shell wide and his legs thick all the way down. You're growing, but it's going to take decades before you're anything close to that size. And when you finally are, other things will start to change too. You're 20 years old now, and most tortoises on this part of the island move out of your path before you get close, so you cover ground without stopping for anything. But this dry season is worse than the ones before it, with the hollow you've used for years sitting nearly empty and the plants around it eaten down to the roots by every tortoise in the area. You need water, so you walk farther than you've ever gone before, following the ground as it rises toward a group of trees you've never reached. At the base of one of them, 2 thick branches meet the trunk in a way that catches and holds rainwater in the gap between them. And the gap is deep enough that the water inside hasn't dried out yet. You stretch your neck up as far as it will go with your front legs pressing against the base of the trunk, and your mouth reaches the water just at the top of your stretch. That's enough. You drink with your head tilted up and your throat pulling the water down. Then another tortoise walks toward the same tree, bigger than you, and with its head already lifting toward the gap. You need to hold this spot, so you step sideways and put your body between the other tortoise and the trunk, with your legs pushing hard into the ground. It walks into your shell, trying to push through, but you dig in and hold your position until it stops pushing and takes a step back. Then it tries to go around the other side, but you turn with it, staying between it and the water the whole time. After a while, it gives up and walks away. The rains will come back eventually, and the island will fill out again. But when they do, something else comes with them, something you've never had to think about before. You're 25 years old now, and the rains have come back with the grass growing tall across the open ground. You're walking through a clearing, with your head down and eating when you pick up on another tortoise nearby, a female, grazing along the far edge of the same clearing with her head moving slowly across the grass. You need to get closer, so you walk toward her with your legs carrying your full weight across the ground. But before you get there, another male steps out from the trees on the other side of the clearing and walks toward her too, with his head held high and his body angled straight at you. He's close to your size, and he stops a few meters away with his neck stretched up as far as it will go. That's a challenge, so you stretch yours up to match him, with both of you standing as tall as your legs will carry you and holding the position. He holds it for a long time, trying to make you drop first. But you keep your neck up and take one slow step forward. He holds for another moment, then lowers his head and turns back toward the trees. That's it. He's done. You walk toward the female and she stays put with her head still down and eating. You stay close to her for the rest of the day, moving when she moves and stopping when she stops. A few weeks later, she digs a hole in the ground with her back legs, drops her eggs into it and covers them over with soil, then walks away. Aldabra tortoises don't stay with their eggs after laying them. Whatever hatches will be on its own from the start, the same way you were. You've held your ground, found a mate, and put your eggs into the island. But the island is about to test you in a way it hasn't before. You're 60 years old now, and you're one of the largest tortoises on this part of the island, with your shell wide and your legs thick enough that younger tortoises move out of your path before you even get close to them. Today, you have a water source to protect. You found a deep hollow 2 days ago that still holds water well into the dry season, and you've stayed close to it ever since, moving away only far enough to graze and then walking back. Every time a younger tortoise walks toward it, you lift your head and take one slow step forward, and that's enough. They turn around before they get within a few meters of you. Then a male close to your size walks toward the hollow with his head already up and his legs carrying him straight at you without slowing down. He's one of the biggest tortoises you've seen in years, so you lift your head and stretch your neck up as far as it will go with your legs pushing you to full height. He matches you, with his neck reaching just as high, and the two of you hold there with neither of you dropping. Then you take one step toward him. He holds his stretch, but his front leg moves back slightly, trying to steady himself. So you take another step, and then another, closing the gap between you with your neck still fully up. He holds for one more moment, then lowers his head and turns away, walking back in the direction he came from. You turn back to the hollow and drink with your head pressed low to the ground. You've held this spot for 2 days, and you'll hold it for as long as the water lasts. But you've been doing this for decades now, and the body that carries you through every dry season is starting to show it. You're 150 years old now, and your shell carries the marks of it, with deep scratches pressed into the surface from decades of pushing against other tortoises and scraping through low trees and rocks across the island. You still walk the same ground you've covered for over a century, but your legs carry you slower than they used to, and you stop to rest more often. One morning you walk toward a hollow you've used for years, and a younger male is already standing in it with his head up and his neck stretched high before you've even reached the edge. You lift your head and stretch your neck up to match him, but your legs don't push you to the same full height they once did. You hold the stretch for as long as you can, but he holds his higher and longer, so after a while you lower your head and turn away. That's the first time that's happened in decades, and you find a smaller wet patch further along the ground and drink from that instead. A few days later, you find a wide cactus pad on the ground and eat through the whole thing slowly with your jaw working from one end to the other, because your body needs more time now to cover the same ground and uses more energy doing it. Aldabra tortoises can live for well over 100 years, because their bodies slow down gradually rather than breaking down all at once. So each year takes a little more out of them than the one before. You walk to a flat open area and lower yourself to the ground with your legs folding slowly under your shell. Then stretch your neck out flat and stay still with your eyes open and your chest pushing up and down. You've outlasted almost everything on this island, but the next dry season will be the longest one yet. You're 180 years old now, and the dry season arrives harder than any you've been through before, with the ground cracking open across the whole island and the hollows drying out faster than they ever have. You walk toward the nearest water source with your legs pushing slowly across the ground, but they stop before you get there, folding under your shell and lowering your body down onto the cracked ground in the open. You stretch your neck out flat in front of you and stay there with your chest pushing up and down. Other tortoises walk past you on both sides, stepping around your shell without stopping, continuing on toward the water. You try to push your legs against the ground to stand, but they don't lift your body. So you stay where you are with your neck stretched out and your eyes open and your chest still moving. A few days pass and your chest moves less with each one. 2 younger tortoises stop beside you for a moment, watching you with their heads low, then turn and walk away. That's all. There's no ceremony in this place, and there never has been. You've watched other tortoises go still on this ground over the decades, and now you're the one going still on it. Your chest stops moving on a day that looks the same as every other day. With other tortoises walking the same ground they always walk, and the island carrying on the way it always has. Your shell stays where it is long after everything else is gone, sitting on the cracked ground in the open, and over the following weeks, the sand starts to build up around its edges and slowly cover the sides. You hatched out of this island 180 years ago, and in the end, the island just takes you back.